Hi everybody, welcome back. Another technical demo around the Quarkus application. My name is Daniel O. In this video, I'm going to showcase how to secure API microservices using Quarkus and Keycloak. Let's get started. Basically, Quarkus provides OpenID connection extension, which allows developers to protect their JXRS application using bearer token authorization, where bearer tokens are issued by OpenID Connect, also known as OIDC, and OAuth 2.0 compliant authorization server. As an example, Keycloak. We're going to use the Keycloak server in my demo. The bearer token authorization is the process of authorizing HTTP request based on the existence of validity of bearer token, which provides valuable information to determine the subject of the call, as well as if an HTTP resource can be accessed or not. In this demo, we're going to build a very simple microservice application that offers two different endpoints. The first of all, API/user/me, and the other one is API/admin. So these endpoints are protected and can only be accessed if a client is sending the bearer token along with the request, which must be valid. As an example, with including signature or expiration and audience, etc., and trusted by the microservices. The bearer token is issued by Keycloak server and represent a subject which the token was issued for. For being OAuth 2.0 authorization server, the token also references the client acting on behalf of the user. So as an example, here is the API users me endpoint can be accessed by any user with a valid token. As a response, it returns JSON documentation with the detail about the user, or these details are obtained from the information carried on the token. The other endpoint, API/admin, is protected with the role-based access control, also known as RBAC, where only user, like an admin user granted with the admin role, can access. At this endpoint, we use role allowed annotation, which Quarkus provides to declaratively enforce access constraint. Okay, let's get into the demo, how it works. Here's my local environment. First of all, I'm going to create a new Quarkus project based on Quarkus CLI tool. This is a new stuff in Quarkus 2.0. And then you just create a secure Quarkus project, and then you can also create any project name. As you can see, there are a Java project just generated with the Maven tool and something like that. And then go to the right project directory and then running on your preferred IDE. For my case, I'm going to use your VS Code to build and change this application code. All right, let's go to POM.XML, which version we're going to use. The 2.0.2 is the latest version. And first of all, we're going to add some required extension OIDC and a REST easy JSON to process and return and consume your return format, like a JSON format. All right, so once you edited the extensions, and it automatically pull down the dependency and then updated your POM.XML at the same time. Okay, here's the sample application, like a hello world return. We're not going to use this one. Instead, we're going to create a new user Java classes, which return the user name. So just class user and then the attribute username, and then we create some public constructor like a security identity from our Quarkus security extension. Just return the username from identity instance, and then the one get method available by publicly. All right, I just delete unnecessary hello world REST API, and let's try to add a new different resources here. The first one uses the resource Java file. And then we're going to specify the endpoint here, the API/user/, and then we need to inject the security identity, which allows we actually inject the identity on your application side, which based on OIDC extension in Quarkus. And then we're going to specify the endpoint like a /me, and then return the JSON format document. And then we also needed to add role allowed annotation with specific role, as an example user. I'm going to showcase how set it up my Keycloak server just a little bit later. And then we return the user just create a new user with this security identity. So one thing you need to understand here is we put in the role around user explicitly to access this RESTful API. Okay, move on. Next resource to create it. The other one is admin resource Java class. Specify API admin endpoint as a RESTful API, and the one get method and the produce JSON document, and then we're going to specify the role here is admin explicitly, and then we just return just test code like a granny. Pretty simple. All right, and then now we're gonna add some compilation buffer there. Let's go to my Keycloak server. I actually running on its container on my local, and then here's a Quarkus RAM I already created, and then you can have actually backend service already there, and the secret credential name is a secret. To make sure this configuration, put in my application on Quarkus side to connect to our Keycloak server. To do that, first of all, the Keycloak OIDC, the OpenID Connect auth server URL is a localhost 8180, and then the RAM URL, the RAM auth RAM is Quarkus here. The second configuration we need to add on here is Quarkus OIDC client ID is backend service, as you saw already here. And the last one is Quarkus OIDC is credential secret name. Actually, the name value is actually secret. You already saw that information in the Keycloak admin console. All right. So this is all required configuration to connect to your Keycloak server and control your IBAC control to access your application. To run Quarkus demo using Quarkus CLI, or you can also use your Maven CLI as well. So as you see, Quarkus 202 final just running, and then I just try to access our normal endpoint, but you got an unauthorized error. So we need to bear token, just call this one. This is a username Alice, and then here is the access token we just got from Keycloak server, and now we're gonna call this endpoint once again with the bearer token. So now we're gonna return the identity for like a username from Keycloak server, and I try to access another endpoint like an admin resource, but you got the forbidden error, which is this endpoint is only accessible by admin role, not any user, even you have a bearer token. So we need to request the new access token based admin role, and then you got the granted return after all. This is a very simple and easy way how to integrate the Keycloak server, secure your API and Quarkus application. Let's try to another way to authorize and secure your API on the Quarkus application. So Quarkus Keycloak Authorization extension, you can actually use that. It is actually based on Quarkus OIDC extension, which it provides a policy enforcer that enforces access to protected resource based on permissions managed by Keycloak, and currently can only be used with the Quarkus OIDC service application, which means that we actually just really bit edited this existing application to use Quarkus Keycloak Authorization extension. It actually provides a flexible dynamic authorization capability based on IBAC control. In other words, instead of explicitly enforcing access based on some specific access control mechanism, such as we put it in role allowed annotation, you just check if the request is allowed to access the resource based on its name or identifier or URI, rather than putting the explicit annotation with the specific name. So this is a really bit cool and flexible way. This is one of the benefits for external authorization from your application. In the end, you are allowed to protect your application using different access control mechanism, as well as avoid redeploying your application every time your security requirements change, where Keycloak server will be acting as a centralized authorization services for you protect the resources and their association permission are managed. So to do that, we're gonna add a new extension first. So try to add a new extension on our Quarkus project. So search Keycloak authorization extension. once we edited this new Keycloak authorization extension, we actually change our application. Let's go to admin resources Java class. We just deleted role access annotation because we don't need to do that any longer. And then go to resource Java class and also delete the role access annotation as well. And then one thing we need to add the application configuration here, the Quarkus Keycloak, the policy imports true. So now your access control managed by Keycloak rather than your annotation on your application side. Pretty awesome. Okay, so let's try to access to one more time with the at least username, and then try to get access control access token here, and then call the endpoint with the bearer token. We got the proper result here with the JSON document, and then try to admin endpoint. We got an error, and then because we just used the same access token by at least username. So that's why we need to recast access token one more time based on admin user. And now we got the granted. So actually the Quarkus server is still running on. I never tried to stop and rebuild. So let's try to change the code to confirm the live coding capability and change the return code to Keycloak. Then save the file. Now we got a new return string, Keycloak granted. So in the meantime, I never ever tried to restart, rebuild, recompile my Quarkus application runtime on my local machine. This is one of the benefits. Still, you're gonna add a new capability on your Quarkus application. Just a quick recap. Today we're gonna run how to secure your Microsoft API on Quarkus application with a Keycloak based on a rollback, a control, and an OIDC authorization. You can also just using OIDC like OpenID Connect with this explicit annotation, but also you can hand it over to Keycloak server to manage the rollback control with the Keycloak authorization extension. There's two ways you can implement securing your application side with the Quarkus. Thanks for watching. Have a rest of the day.